Hello friends and welcome back to Enterprise Architecture. Now, last episode we made a lot of progress in our gold and silver tree for Techopolis 2. That means we now have the ingredients to unlock the next series of things, which is the thermal machines. I'm really excited about these. These are some of my favorites. This is one of my favorite mods to play with. So with no further ado, let's dive right into that. So with silver and gold wrapped up here, we now have access to Electrum, and that means we are on to the thermal series machines. So first things first, we need the recipe book here for thermal series. So we're going to add that to our shopping list. And then we are going to head back over here and actually make that book. So I've already made the Techium and the Electrum that we're going to need for it. So it should be relatively simple. So let's go ahead and submit that. Perfect. And now we are on to machine frames. This is the first ingredient we need. And you can see that this recipe is already different from the one that we may be familiar with for machine frames. For this, we're going to need Electrum gears. So we're going to have to take some of this extra Electrum that I had made, and it looks like we're going to need a lot more than what I've already cooked up. Thankfully, I've got more cooking here. And we're going to take that over here to our metal press, which already has the gear in it. Let's take half. And that is only going to make us, I think, 8 gears here, because the gear recipe is very expensive. It's 4-to-1, 4 ingots to 1 gear. So when that comes out the other side, we should have some of the gears that we need for this recipe. So you can see quest completed, Electrum gear up there. Let's go ahead and see if we now have, we need glass and silver. That's easy enough. We have that in our array. So we're going to use our new storage network, our simple storage network, to make that, because it's got access to all of these ingredients. So one machine frame coming up without having to clutter our inventory. Perfect. All right, and that completes that quest. So with the machine frame done, we get a second one, and we can use that to start making our machines. Now, we need to make a flux coil. This is, again, a relatively expensive recipe that we are going to be coming back to over and over again. It's cheaper than in Feed the Factory. I think that was surrounded by redstone in that pack. So let's go ahead and make that. I'm sure we're going to be making a lot more of those. That quest is now done. So we now have access to some of our initial machines. We've got the Induction Smelter, which we are going to be able to use to make a variety of different ingredients. And we also have the Magmatic Dynamo. I think this uses lava to then make energy. So I want to make this real fast. I think this will be a fun one. For that, we're going to need an Invar gear. So let's go ahead and grab up 4 pieces of Invar. I don't have a lot of Invar lying around, but I have enough for this. Let's go ahead and lock our Electrum up. I forgot about that. So if we come over here, we can make an Invar gear. So drop these in. And what else are we going to need for that Magmatic Dynamo? I keep wanting to say Magnetic Dynamo, but that's not it. Magmatic. There we go. Iron, Invar, redstone, flux coil, and redstone. Okay, we've got all of the other things for that. Let's grab up the rest of our other gears. And this is just going to be a way to power things. That's all we really need out of it. I think we have everything now. There we go. Magmatic Dynamo. Wonderful. And if I grab up my fluid pipes, which I think I've got a few extras lying around here somewhere. There they are. I think I can take those, and in combination with my Magmatic Dynamo, I can actually plunk them onto either the tank here or onto actually our output from this, so that we can use this lava we've been accumulating to make power. There we go, onto the pipe. That should be getting lava in slowly, very, very slowly, but I think it'll be fast enough for this to start working. And then that's going to give us power here. So now we have to do is add an LV wire connector onto it, and onto that we need to add a coil, the insulated coils, of course. We don't want to electrocute ourselves, per usual. And that's going to be giving us power now for free. So there we go. Lava's coming in and power is going out. So now that we've made and placed that, let's cross off that quest for the Magmatic Dynamo. I think next we could go for the Blast Chiller to get obsidian. But I think instead what might be useful here is to go for the Pulverizer, because then I think we get to ore multiplication off of that. Let's see here. What are the recipes using the Pulverizer? Yeah, I'm not seeing our standard ores. Well, there we go. That's a standard ore, right? Technically, nickel ore. So that's giving us nickel dust and copper dust. So this might be the way to go to get our ore multiplication all the way up. And do each of these then turn into 1? Oh, it's 2 to 1 in a redstone furnace and 2 to 1. Okay, so that's ore multiplication, but it's not a very high ore multiplication. It's double what we're getting now, but it's still lower than I would like. So we'll get to that in just a second here. So let's go ahead and set up a Pulverizer. So we need another machine frame, which we have. We need copper gears, so let's go ahead and make 2 of those, and then pistons and a redstone flux coil. So redstone flux coil is easy. Let's grab up 8 pieces of copper and make ourselves 2 copper gears. We're doing a lot more gears in this than the previous standard recipes would have needed, so that's interesting. I do think that that's a nice touch here, is to use more of the gear recipes. Ordinarily, those get somewhat neglected to use the gears at all, really, so we'll use those. And then what else are we going to need here? That piston. We'll go ahead and make that. Wonderful. And I think that's just about everything. Oh, we're missing flint. That's interesting. I wonder how we get flint in this pack. So it looks like we can only get flint off of the induction smelter. So it looks like we have to do it in the other way around. We can't just get flint magically. So this quest line is confusing because it's not telling you what you actually need to do here. So let's add the induction smelter instead. And to that, we are going to need a blast furnace first of all. Let's see here. Induction smelter, blast furnace. That means a regular furnace. So let's make 1 regular furnace, like so. And then we use this to make our blast furnace. Easy enough. And then what else are we going to need here? Invar gears and sand. Perfect. All right, another quest complete. Now we need a place to start setting up these machines here, and so I'd put some wire relays over on this side of our base. And I think I'm just going to start setting those up here. So let's go ahead and take our wire connector and plonk on top, and then connect that up with a cable real fast. Just like that. And now that should be getting power. Yeah, there we go. And our induction smelter is now good to go. So let's go ahead and take this and put 2 pieces of gravel in and see if we can get 2 of our flint out. There's 1 flint and some slag, and that's a different type of slag than we had been using. I'm not sure what we use this slag for. Concrete, concrete, concrete. Podzol. Okay. Slaggish recipes. Nothing especially interesting. Fertilizer, that might be useful, but nothing we have to have. Drop that slag in here. And now with those in hand, we should have everything that we need to make the induction smelter. We will, or excuse me, the pulverizer. We will need to make 1 more redstone coil because we used up our last one of those. And now we should have everything. There we go. There's the pulverizer. Great. So let's go ahead and put this over here. And we will wire that up similarly to the way that we did the last one. Climbing up here and wiring it with that connector. And now the pulverizer is getting power. So let's see here. Which of these ingredients do we need the most of? I think copper is probably our biggest restriction right now. So let's grab up a stack of copper here and drop it into the pulverizer and see what happens. And there we go. We're getting 6 pieces of copper dust off of that 1 copper ingot. That's pretty good. So if I put that into the induction smelter, what do I get out? Let's see, induction smelter with just copper. 1 to 1. Okay, that's super great. That's actually exactly what we want. So maybe what we do is start setting up a whole bunch of pulverizers, a whole bunch of induction smelters, and start using those to make all of our ingots here instead of using the jumbo furnace. I think this is going to be the upgrade for us here. So I'm going to start thinking that through. We're not quite ready to do that yet because these are very expensive recipes. Oh, we get gold dust as a secondary ingredient. That's even better. Okay, I love that. So I'm going to wait for that to go for a second, and then I'm going to use that to make more gold dust. So collect those tech bucks, collect these tech bucks, and it looks like we are on to making signalum. So for that, we need copper dust, silver dust, and redstone dust. So let me, you know what, I shouldn't have smelted all that copper dust. Let's pick back up some of that copper dust. And let's grab a piece of silver out of here. Where's silver? Where's silver? Oh, it's out of the other one. There's our silver. Let's put that into the pulverizer. And then we will take that along with our redstone dust and make ourselves some lovely, lovely signalum. And you know what? We need to make a bunch of signalum because I think signalum as a cap is one of the better options that you can have. So here's a block. Let's see, uses of that as a cap block, 40 ticks. That's real good. So 4 of those would really help with our lava production. And our lava production we can then use to add more of those magmatic dynamos. So I think that will be a really nice synergy for us. So let's go ahead and make our signalum dust. So there we go. There's 4 of those. Can I make any more of that? Yeah, I can make more of that. Look at it go. I am shift clicking. So you'd think I'd be making more than that, but no worries. So this goes into the induction smelter by itself to make a signalum ingot. So let's go ahead and make a signalum ingot here. And maybe what we'll do is we'll make 9 so that we can make a block of signalum. So we do that. We do this in a second, and then, ooh, signalum plates. I wonder what we use those for. Let's see here. Oh, for making a crystallizer and a banner pattern. I don't really care about that. Pulver, yeah, none of these things matter. So a crystallizer, I guess, is the main thing we use that for. I'm not sure what we're going to use a crystallizer for, but it is the next quest over here. Hardened glass is the other thing we need. Ah, and that's what we need obsidian for. That's what's going on there, along with steel dust and sand. So maybe we will go ahead and work on this blast chiller real quick here. And oof, this uses advanced techium, so this is a very expensive recipe. Let me go make up a bunch more invar real quick, and then we will get onto the blast chiller. But first things first. So we complete our signalum quest. We go back for our blast chiller now. We have to make another redstone flux coil. Let's see here. And then what are we missing here? Just the machine frame. So let's make a machine frame, and then we can make our blast chiller. Perfect. All right, another quest knocked off our list. So the blast chiller, I think we're going to put just to the side of that. And we are going to need to pick up some more wire cables here pretty darn quick. We are running out, but we can go ahead and wire this one up. All right, so to use that, we need to go get ourselves a bunch of lava. Now we've got 10,000 millibuckets. Let's go dump this into our blast chiller. There we go. That's 8 buckets. So this should slowly but surely turn into obsidian. So let's just hang out for a second. And there we go. Now we're getting obsidian out. So that completes that quest. We're going to check these off real quick. And I'm going to hang out and wait for the rest of our obsidian to come in. I'm also going to go ahead and use the bit that we've got along with some steel dust and some sand to make some hardened glass, because we're going to need that for the next quest. So let me grab a piece of steel and let's pulverize that real quick. And then we're going to add that in here with our sand and our dust. All right, so let's use this to make our hardened glass in our induction smelter. Sand, obsidian, okay, great. So do this, and then we do this, and then we do this. And that should give us 2 pieces, I believe, of hardened glass back out. Voila, hardened glass. Perfect. Yet another quest complete. All right, so the hardened glass we use to make our magma crucible. And again, we're going to need a bunch more of our invar gears. All right, a bunch of new invar gears made. So we are ready to make the magma crucible. So let's see here. What do we need? Once again, another redstone coil. No question there. We need another machine frame. Easy enough. I can't wait for automatic crafting with some of our other options here later in the pack. And there is our Magma Crucible. Great, and this is going to go right here next to the other machines. All right, so let's make up a little bit more of our insulated wire coils. Let's do, I don't know, let's do 8 for now. There we go, great. And now we can connect up this next machine here in our collection. All right, this goes on here, this goes on here, and we connect it to there. Perfect. That is a Magma Crucible added. Nice. So, Magma Crucible is now done. Now onto the Crystalizer. So for that we need a Signalum plate. How many Signalum plates are we actually going to need for this? It looks like 2. So let's grab our 2 pieces of Signalum up. And actually, let's make a block first, just because I want to make sure that there isn't a quest associated with this. Doesn't look like it. A lot of the time there has been. And we're going to go put this into the press to get ourselves a pair of plates. So we grab our metal press mold. Let's move that and put in 2 pieces of Signalum. There we go. Let's swap this back out because we're going to be making more gears, I'm sure. And now we have the plates quest done. With these in hand, we can come over here and make ourselves our Crystalizer. So again, we're going to make ourselves a machine frame first. We are going to make ourselves a redstone flux coil, like so. And now, whoops, that's the wrong one. We should have, oh, we are missing a couple of things. What are we missing here? Constantin, okay, and also hardened glass. So we need to make ourselves one more piece of hardened glass. I'm gonna go do that real quick. And Constantin isn't something we've made yet. So this is made in an induction smelter with nickel and copper. All right, easy enough. So let's go ahead and let's just do it this way, right? Let's grab our copper ore out of here and our nickel ore out of here. Not redstone ore, that's not what we need. Nickel, and whenever more copper shows up, we are going to use that. There we go. And let's go ahead and just smelt it down by crushing it, right? Let's do it this way. All right, so we make ourselves another piece of our hardened glass, and we also grab up our copper here to go along with our pulverized nickel. And as soon as this is done, we will load those in. There we go. And that is going to make us our Constantin really quickly here. I really love that we're getting so many secondary ingredients off of this smelting. That's super helpful. All right, Signalum plate is done. All right, so we grabbed up our Constantin out of the machine. We're going to put that into our press here. We're going to get our 2 gears off of that, just like so. Perfect, and now that should be everything that we need to make our Crystalizer. So let's go ahead and load all of this up, and there we go. Perfect. Another quest completed. All right, so let's climb up here and wire it up along with everything else. Connect that. There we go. Okay, Crystalizer is good to go. Now, what are we making the Crystalizer? This is interesting. A lot of unfamiliar items. Ooh, diamonds. But we need diamond dust to do that. Emeralds need emerald dusts. It looks like all of these need their respective dusts to make the actual crystals. That is interesting. And it looks like water is also a main ingredient with these. Sapphire dust with liquid glass. That's going to be fascinating. Prismarine, crystal base. Okay, so those are various crystals that we can make with this. What does this actually mean for our quest line, though? Crystal base, niter, and liquid glass. Okay, so to get to that, niter we get from pulverizing what? Sand, right? No, sandstone. Okay, so let me see here. We definitely have some sandstone lying around, which we had been using previously. Let's pulverize that and get ourselves some niter out of it. Lead dust, I don't know what we get that out of. It's a secondary ingredient. Silver ore? Oh, okay. So let's get us some silver and pulverize that until we get our secondary ingredient as well from that. So we'll just wait for this to complete. All right, so we got our niter out of that. And now let's go ahead and do the same to our silver ore and see if we can't get any lead out of that. Alright, so we only got one sad piece of lead out of all of that. I pulverized, I don't know, half a stack or something now? Maybe like 16 pieces? A whole bunch. Well, I guess we know, it's twice as many, so 20 pieces already that we've pulverized. And we only got one piece of lead dust out of all of that. So it's enough to complete the quest, but I don't know if it's enough. Yeah, we need 4 pieces and a bunch of techium to actually get the research for lead. So before we can go down this whole chain, we are going to have to just pound out a lot more of this silver. Okay, there's a second piece, but we're still a long way off. So I'm going to keep getting silver as we go and continue to complete that bit. But we can complete our Niter quest, and it looks like we can use our Niter plus liquid glass to make our crystal base. Now, liquid glass we're going to need to make in a Magma Crucible, which we do have. So let's go ahead and grab up a couple of pieces of glass. How much do we need for this? I'm not sure. We'll find out really quick. There's 2,000. Let's use our jerry can to grab that up. And we'll put that into our Crystalizer with our Niter. And let's see how much we get back out of this. All right, so there is our first piece of crystal base. And that completes that. And now we just need to use that to make our prismarine shards, which is just with water in our crystalline base. What else can we use this for? Research paper crystals. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, it looks like that's the main use. Oh, and then we can also get these ores once we get crystalline dust, which we get for crystalline, which we get for crystal ore, which we get from crystal fragments. Okay, so there's that whole weird chain there that we're going to have to go through. So let's go ahead and grab these up. We're going to let this last piece of niter finish, and then we're going to grab the rest of the fluid out of that into this jerry can. Let's grab an empty jerry can here. Actually, we don't even need a jerry can. All we need is a bucket. So, you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and use our ceramic bucket of water. No big deal. We'll dump that in there. And we will then put in instead our crystal base. Let's do 1, 2. And there we go. There is our prismarine. And that quest is also complete. Extra watery. Very, very, very moist, I guess is what they're saying. All right, at long last, we just got our 4th piece of our lead dust. So now what we're waiting on is a bunch of steel so that we can make our last steel gears so we can make more techium. So we've got 3 blocks of steel there. And if I break that down, we should get 40. Yeah, that's plenty. So I'm just going to take 32 of these and put that into my press. And that should give us 8 more gears. And there we go. And we take our 8 gears over here. And I'd already laid out everything else for more of the advanced techium, except for the gears. And that should give us 2 more pieces of it. Now, I do need a lot more steel, so I've got a bunch more smelting right now. So with those together, we can now use that with our lead dust to make ourselves our research papers lead. So let's go ahead and unlock that. There we go. And now we can get lead fragments. So we go back over here to our ores are us. We are going to disable pretty much everything else. I don't even remember what was last. Probably silver and gold was last. And then we enable lead. There we go. We grab up our colored stone. Let's see here. I don't think I need that much. Let's take 6. Lay that down. That might not be enough because we do need that same amount. We need 36 pieces all said and done. And there we go. We've got a bunch of lead fragments. We take that and we combine it with our regular stone here. And there's our 36. Okay, perfect. So now we have all of the lead ore that we need. So that means it's time to make ourselves up another miner. And that means we need another wooden pickaxe. Let's go ahead and do that. And we are ready to use our lead ore. Now, what do we need to do to mine this? We need tier 6 support frames. So with our tier 6 support frames that we need to make, let's see here, that's made with gold. So let's go ahead and use this gold, and then we should have sticks in here. I'm gonna have to go get some more sticks. So we surround that, and we need 33 of these, 32 technically, but as close as we can get is 33. So let's go ahead and round that, and that gets us to 33. Perfect. All right, dump all that stuff off. And now what we need to do is also take our redstone and make ourselves a couple more of our redstone caps. I think we just need 2 for this. Now I'm going to go ahead and set this up right here in between these two, but I had just gotten a great tip from Blackest Dawn, who always leaves me wonderful tips. I appreciate all the tips you all leave, but this one is particularly great in that apparently we can overlap our frames of different tiers. So if I take down this tier 5, which is the baseline here, we need at least a minimum of a tier 6. So for our lead, so if I put the tier 6 support frames here, these other ones that require the tier 5 should still continue working. That's assuming I'm doing this right, which I don't know if I am, but we'll find out really quick. Just like that. And if I go ahead and put my redstone block on top of this, this is now ready for our lead. So let's go ahead and drop down here and put our lead in place. This again, 3 by 3 by 4. Okay, there we go. And I'm picking up all of these other ores off of the other belts while I'm doing it, even though I don't want to. Put that down there, and then we put our drawer on top of it, and we should get out of that our first block of lead ore. Great. And let's lock that up so we don't have any problems. So that's going to continue producing. Let's take these all the way back and smelt them down, pulverize and smelt, and then we will be able to complete these last couple of quests. So dump that into the pulverizer, and now we take those, dump them into our induction smelter, and that dust should now give us our lead ingots, and that should complete the next quest. So there and there and there, and that magical noise means we have completed the entire thermal series quest. And so with that, that brings to a close this episode of Enterprise Architecture. Now, between episodes, I think I'm going to make up a whole bunch more of these pulverizers and smelters and start lining those up along the top here where I have these other machines. So thanks again for watching Enterprise Architecture, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends.